small construction of India. We don't mind each other put
सेट 25 नवंबर को तो इन्होंने ये कहा कि जो है साइंटिस्ट ये सिग्नेचर करा करके फिर हम लोग को भेजना है। बट ये
आज ही लगाया है क्या?
ये आज ही लगाया सर।
और ये क्या हाल है? कैसा चल रहा है? कितने लोग हैं? ये सारे इधर के साथ लोगों को स्टाफ को सबको टेस्ट कर रहे हैं?
सारे स्टाफ
कहाँ के हो? कौन से कॉलेज के?
सर मैं IPMT कॉलेज छतरपुर।
मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ अर्बन डेवलपमेंट का
बिल्डिंग इज
NDMC की सीमा में आता है, तो हमें उन्हीं से NOC लेना है।
इस बिल्डिंग के लिए?
यस सर।
Dr. Harshvardhan, Honorable Union Minister for Health, Dr. M. Rajivan, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Ms. Manu Bhasin, Additional Director General, commissioned by the Ministry of Earth Sciences.
Very good morning and welcome to this event being organized for release of the report on estimating the economic benefits of investments in monsoon mission and high performance computing facilities by Honorable Minister. This study was carried out by NCAER, a non-profit research institute based in New Delhi. Ministry of Earth Science has a mandate to provide weather, climate and ocean services and is also responsible for giving forewarnings of natural disasters. Thus, the ministry invests considerable resources in the form of manpower, intellect and infrastructure to undertake mission mode programs for delivery of a reliable weather and climate service. Although the cost of rendering these services is quantifiable through the ministry's budget, but the societal benefit of these services in quantifiable terms can be known only through third-party evaluation and through specific studies designed for this purpose. The third-party evaluation serves two purposes. One, it gives a constructive feedback about the services being rendered and helps us to improve the service. And two, helps us to understand and narrow the gap between information being provided and information being sought by the end user. This is also in line with the directive of Government of India to ensure that every rupee spent has to have a socio-economic benefit to the society. Thus, NCAER has been entrusted by the ministry time and again to carry out such studies in various services in a phased manner. NCAER, during its study in the past, in 2010, 2012 and 2016, have carried out the impact analysis in economic benefit of different services of the ministry and studied various aspects of their impact. With increasing incidence of extreme weather events due to climate change, MOES launched specific mission mode programs with targeted deliverables and stipulated timelines during the 12th plan. The National Monsoon Mission and augmentation of high performance computing were approved by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs in 2012 and 2014 respectively, and considerable resources have been invested in these two programs. While the tangible benefits in terms of increased reliability and improvement in skill was evident due to this investment, however, it was pertinent to undertake an evidence-based research by a third party to showcase the benefits of this investment. Thus, in May 2019, NCAER was entrusted once again to carry out the responsibility of estimating the economic benefit of investment in Monsoon Mission and High Performance Computing Facility at a total cost of Rs 61 lakhs. The report has been submitted by NCAER and will be released at the hands of our Honorable Minister today. I will now present the brief highlights of the report. So, this is a study commissioned by the Ministry of Earth Sciences to the National Council of Applied Economic Research. The context of the study is, as I said, that the National Monsoon Mission initiated in 2012 with the broad objective to set up a dynamical prediction system for seasonal forecast and to improve the forecasting skills in the country in all scales. The budget allocation for the National Monsoon Mission was Rs 551 crores, that is 400 crores in 2012 and 17 and Rs 151 crores during 2017-18. And the basic achievements have been establishing a seasonal prediction model for monsoon at a very high resolution of 38 kilometers, establishing the extended rate prediction for next 20 days, useful for dry wet spells, heat, cold wave, etc. And a very high resolution ensemble prediction system at 12 kilometers in the short and medium range up to 8 to 10 days, useful for extreme weather predictions. The high performance computing facility at MOS institutes was augmented from 1 petaflop to 10 petaflop with a total investment of Rs 438.9 crores. This brought in a paradigm shift in weather and climate modeling activity for operational weather forecast. Hence, a total of Rs 990 crores, which is approximately 1000 crores, have been invested in setting up the NMM and the HPC. Both the programs, as I said earlier, were approved by CCA. It is therefore imperative that the economic impact of this investment is estimated through evidence-based research. So the main objectives of the study were to estimate the economic benefits of the investments made in NMM and HPC, to examine the role of improved accuracy of weather prediction in improving the livelihood of farming, livestock rearing and fishing communities, to understand the importance of weather-based advisories in decision making and reducing loss in agricultural households and fishery households, and to examine the economic benefits with gender perspective. So NCAER conducted a primary face-to-face survey in collaboration with the Reliance Foundation Information Services. In all, they covered 173 districts spread across 16 states of India. A questionnaire designed to collect information for reference period from April 2015 to March 2019 was taken. It also collected data on access to weather services currently and before 2015. A face-to-face survey of 6,098 respondents, including 3,965 farmers, 757 marine fishermen, and 1,376 livestock owners was conducted to gauge the economic impact. Interactive voice response survey of around 2 lakh respondents was conducted to validate the findings of face-to-face survey. Now, the key findings of survey of agricultural household, which also includes the farmers as well as the livestock owners. The NCAER considered 10.7 million below poverty line agricultural households in rain-fed areas. 3965 crop farmers interviewed across 121 districts of 11 states of India. 1376 livestock owners interviewed across 92 districts of 10 states of India. And the reliability, in terms of reliability, NCAER found that 94% of the farmers and 53.7% of livestock owners are seeking weekly advisory instead of seasonal advisory post NMM. So that is the reliability had increased and the farmers were seeking the forecast more frequently. And in terms of gain in income and avoiding loss, 80% of the farmers and 83% of the livestock owners who received information on natural calamities reported to have reduced losses occurring due to them. The key findings also included the adoption of weather advisory in critical practices. 9 critical practices have been identified for farmers which are crucial for their farming operations, and 3 critical practices have been identified for the livestock owners. So the NCEAR found that 98% farmers and 76% of livestock owners made modification to at least one of the critical practices based on the weather advisories and had income gain. The average annual income of farming households which adopted no modification worked out to be rupees 1.98 lakhs and rupees 3.02 lakhs for those who adopted all the 9 changes. So the majority of livestock owners, that is 96%, reported that weather advisories are improving the practice of vaccination against seasonal disease. 80% of the farmers and 83% of livestock owners who received information on natural calamities reported to have reduced losses occurring to them. The key findings for the fishermen community: the NCAER considered 0.53 million below poverty line fisher-folk households. 757 marine fishermen across 34 districts in 7 states of India were considered. 82% of fishermen reported using ocean state forecasting advisories every time before venturing into the sea, and 87.7% of fishermen are using these advisories on daily basis as compared to just 15.1% before 2015. 95% of them reported to have avoided empty trips by following the ocean state forecast advisories, which helped them to save rupees 18.25 crores of operational cost. Rupees 1.92 crores additional income was generated from the 1079 successful fishing expeditions made using the potential fishing zone advisories. And about 97% of the fishermen received information about flood or cyclone on time, and about 86% were able to minimize their losses due to this. So the estimation of economic benefits, NCR's key results say that the total economic benefits to the agricultural households, that is the farmers and the livestock owners taken together, works out to be rupees 13,331 crores, and incremental benefit over the next 5 years is estimated to be around rupees 48,056 crores for the farming community. Annual income gain by fisher households is estimated to be rupees 663 crores, and the present value of benefits accruing to fisher folk works out to be rupees 2,391 crores over a period of 5 years. Now the 5-year period was taken because it's assumed that the life of a computer is just for 5 years, and that is why they took a useful period of 5 years. Hence, a total of rupees 50,447 crores is the present value of economic benefits accruing to agricultural households and fisher folk realized over the 5-year period. About 26.6% of the total benefits is attributed to the women contribution in this. With an initial investment of rupees 1,000 crores, NCER has said that the NMM and HPC facility result in a 50-fold increase in its economic benefit. Thank you.
Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology and Earth Sciences to release the NCER report estimating the economic benefits of investment . Dr. M. Rajivan, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, to say a few words on this occasion.
Honorable Minister of for Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Harshavardhan Ji, Dr. Mahapatra, Director General of IMD, Dr. Vipin Chandra, Joint Secretary, MOES, Ms. Nanu Bhasin, Additional Director General, PIB, Dr. Parvinder Maini, Program Director, Dr. Gopal Iyengar, and Directors of all MOES institutes and other colleagues of Ministry of Earth Sciences, my dear friends from press and media, good morning to all of you. And I also, on behalf of Ministry of Earth Sciences, welcome all of you for this important event of releasing the NCR report on economic benefits from monsoon mission and high performance computing facilities which MOES has acquired. As I'll give a brief, because already the results of this NCR report have been already presented by Dr. Parvinder Maini, so I will not go in detail, but I would like to give a little background of what is monsoon mission and how we launched, and also little details about high performance computer and little bit about our future plan. And the Honorable Minister will also talk in detail about the details of the report as well as our future plans. Monsoon mission was launched in 2012. First phase was for 5 years up to 17. The second phase we started in 2017, and still it is going on up to 21. So of course we will be launching the third phase in next year when we write new proposals for the next plan PD. And monsoon mission was a very unique project which Ministry of Earth Sciences launched with the ultimate aim of improving monsoon forecast. As all of us know that monsoon is our bread and butter. Without monsoon we will not have been surviving now. So we need a really accurate forecast for many sectors, from short range, nowcasting, short range, then medium range, extended range, and even in seasonal time scale. So we need to really improve our forecast. So the purpose was to improve all the monsoon forecasts in all time scales. So there are already we got big benefits. We could establish state-of-the-art dynamical models for monsoon forecast, including ensemble forecasting, which is one of the best in the world now. And also we could provide now very high resolution 12 kilometer global model and regional model 3 and 4 kilometer. And also we could launch, for example, we have air pollution system in Delhi, which is also was done part of monsoon mission project. So we already got good benefits, and still the project is going. And the second phase of the monsoon mission is basically meant for applications. So we have given a lot of projects for developing application tools, especially on agriculture, water resources, and also energy. And the first phase we have given 30 projects, and second phase we have given 20 projects for both from India as well as from abroad. We got special permission from Cabinet to fund institutions, research institutions and academic institutions around the world. And I would like to proudly say that most of the best people in meteorology and weather forecasting, weather and climate science people have participated very actively for this monsoon mission, and they have contributed a lot in our success of monsoon mission so far. So I would like to make use of this opportunity to thank all of them, people who have participated in the first phase and people who are participating in the second phase. Regarding high performance computers, because you need big computers, because you need to really run mathematical models of high resolution, so you need big computers. Initially we had only 1 petaflop machine, and that now we upgraded it to 10. Our Honorable Minister was kind enough to come and inaugurate the 2 computing platforms, one at IIT Pune and another was at NCMRW Noida. And these performance computers are used to generate weather and climate prediction. I would like to really reiterate that without this computer, all these benefits, so all these achievements which we are probably saying for last 4-5 years it happened, could not have been possible. Only because of this large computing power, we can now run very high resolution mathematical models and generate very accurate forecasts. So even though this report, specific report or NCR report is describing only the benefits of farmers and fishermen, but how would I to say that monsoon mission and HPC has benefited many other areas in weather forecast and climate prediction services, such as for some disaster management. Our tropical cyclone forecasts have gone up, and accuracy has gone up. Our forecast in heat waves has improved a lot, and we are also now launching sectoral applications for energy and power sector, for example, and we are giving now a great forecast for flood management and water resources management, etc. And also we are recently had launched a small program on health sector, giving using extended forecast so that we can give some health warnings as well as advisory for health sector. All this it was possible only because of this monsoon mission and high performance computer, even though this report addressed only two aspects. So we will be making the economic benefits of other sectors in the next year. So once again, thank you all of you for joining. Only 3 people have joined here, but I am very sure that many people are joining with us on online. And thank you very much, and thank you PIB for organizing this event. And I should really thank our Honorable Minister, who has been always inspiration to all of us and giving us constant guidance as well as advice for our day-to-day work. And thank you, sir, for coming and for your kind, gracious presence here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you.
Mr. Dr. Rajivan, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Dr. Parvinder Mani, Program Director for Ministry of Earth Sciences, Ms. Nanu Bhasin, our senior representative from PIB, Joint Secretary MOES Mr. Vipin Chandra, DGM IMD, Director NCMRWF, Director NCS, all the senior officers, some of them are present here, some of them are joined with us, who have joined with us virtually from Ministry of Earth Sciences, IMD, National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting and NCS, other representatives from PIB, press people who have joined us today virtually also and physically also in this room. Officials, other officials have been told that all the directors of all the MOES institutions have also joined for this function. Senior scientists who are involved in the monsoon mission as well as the high performance computing facilities in Ministry of Earth Sciences, they have all joined. All the program directors of MOES are also with us today. The representatives from NCAER, they are all here. In fact, this is a very, very privileged moment for me to be part of this function, because I remember a couple of years back, probably it was 2016, here itself I had released a similar report which was worked upon by the National Council of Applied Economic Research, one of the very prestigious bodies where they specialize in this type of job. And I think this is a great way, a scientific way of evaluating your own work, and of course trying to calculate and be happy and satisfied that what are the real outcomes of your outputs that you deliver to through the department, and what are the real benefits to the society, because this is what the Prime Minister has always been stressing. I have also been stressing that whatever we do in science, it should be science for the people, and we should be able to quantify the benefits to the people, because science, if it is only for publication of papers or for journals, it has no benefit for the people. But if it is actually converted into real benefits for the people, and here in this particular case, what we are discussing today is the benefit to the farmers and the fishermen, the majority of whom are poor people, and this is one very strong passion area of the Prime Minister and of the present government also. So I'm so happy that this report has been done, and it has been done by after a thorough study, and I think the way the experts have gone to a few lakh people, whether it was talking to them at a personal level or whether it was through a telephonic call, voice communication, it in fact speaks volumes about the credibility of the report, because number one, it's from a very, very prestigious institution, and number two, it has been produced after talking to over 2 lakh farmers and other fishermen, etc. I remember that I was part of these two important functions which were organized in the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology at Pune, and also the National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting at Noida. And all at both these functions a few years back, when it was told to me that we are installing huge high performance computers, and our present computing ability of 1 petaflop is going to be upgraded to almost 10 petaflop. It was great news. Right now I know that the future plan is to take it even up to 40 petaflop. Maybe because of the recent COVID outbreak in the country and all over the world, we have not been able to proceed in that direction with the speed that was actually designed for conversion. But I am sure that in the coming year we will certainly be able to improve that ability also. And similarly, I also had the privilege of visiting this Indian National Center for this Ocean Information Services in Kois, Hyderabad, and that was, I think, I remember that was probably one of the first few functions of my having taken charge of this ministry. And if I remember correctly, it was probably on the 24th or 25th of December in 2014, then when I had visited in Kois first time. And I was so pleased to know that a country which was, you see, a lot of devastation happened. We were caught literally unaware in 2004 when we were struck by a tsunami. But when I visited that place in 2014, I could appreciate that the scientists had converted that place into one where our early tsunami warning systems for the country are rated probably the best in the whole world. And this was the same country which was caught unaware in 2004. So the scientists there have also done a great work for tsunami forecasting, and also for all these advisories to the fishermen about the potential you see fishing zones where you may have more fishes and all that, and then the according to the ocean forecasts that they develop, they can actually guide the fishermen also. So This is, I think, very, very important, one of the very important activities of this ministry, the Ministry of Earth Sciences, where we are actually helping the farmers, we are helping the fishermen also, and we know that agriculture is almost 60% of the population is dependent on agriculture, and in fact the country is also dependent on their services for carrying out our livelihood, our food needs and all those things in a perfect manner. And this agriculture sector contributes to 18% of the GDP of the country. And if I have to talk about my Prime Minister's ambition, we have seen that he has a special passion for at least 2-3 communities. He always talks about the laborers, he always talks about the poor people, he always talks about the farmers. And there is a very ambitious plan that by 2022, when we deliver the new India to all Indians at the time of completion of 75 years of our independence. So at that time, by that time he wants to double the income of the farmers. And that is why we have so many schemes that have been launched and that have been strengthened over the course of the last 6 years, whether it is the Prime Minister's Gram Sinchai Yojana, whether it is the Prime Minister Kisan Samman Yojana, where to almost 120 million farmers who have a land less than 2 hectares, there is an additional support of rupees 6,000 rupees per annum. That is to strengthen them financially. And then of course the Prime Minister's Kisan Mandhan Yojana is also there, which is a pension scheme for the small and the marginal farmers. There is the Prime Minister's Fasal Bima Yojana. You pay less premium and you get more dividend out of that when you are in trouble. So these are some of the innovative schemes that have been in fact developed. There are many others for the farmers also, but I have just mentioned, and just to give you an idea that how much this particular aspect that is being discussed here in this ministry is also contributing to the realization of the vision of the Prime Minister. And then of course in the fishery sector, where there is a need and also being done is the strengthening of the employment opportunities for the large coastal and other populations, and also which strengthens the food supply, what we do for the fishermen. And of course there is a increased earning of foreign exchange also, and that area also is contributing to almost 1.28% of the GDP. And there also the Prime Minister's Matsya Sampada Yojana is there, especially dedicated to the farmers. I think these are the scheme that has been strengthened over the last couple of years in this ministry by strengthening the National Monsoon Mission, as well as by strengthening the computing facility which was just mentioned, where we have this you see the dynamical model for producing the weather forecasts. I think they are actually these high resolution mathematical models, they are delivering rich dividends to the people of India. Although I know that Dr. Pavinder Mani has actually given a detailed presentation, but some of the facts that I want to even reiterate, even at the cost of repetition, we know that the total amount that has been spent on the National Monsoon Mission, and it was mentioned by Dr. Rajivan that some 400-500 crores was spent on the strengthening the high performance computing. So it's almost 1,000 crores. And the survey was done basically to see that what is the benefit that the farmers in rain-fed areas got, but what is the benefit that the fishermen got, what is the benefit that the livestock owners got out of the, and also the study ensured that there was, survey around finding the benefits from the gender perspective, especially to women. And face-to-face 6,098 respondents, and then 2 lakh, as I said earlier, respondents were through this interactive voice response survey. And this included, this face-to-face survey included 3,965 farmers, it included 757 marine fishermen, it included 1,376 livestock owners. But the important thing that I wish to, because that's the practical aspect of it, which was mentioned also, that 98% farmers, they made modification in at least one of the 9 critical practices. And if I mention these practices, some of these practices, like they changed the variety or the breed, they arranged for storage of harvest, they actually ensured that either there is a early or a delayed harvesting as per the forecast that has been given to them. Then they also changed their crop. Then they also ensured that there was either early or delayed sowing. Again, a very, very important aspect, because if you are giving the such advice to the farmers, because these are the basic things, and if they can actually change the perspective of their farming strategy to an extent that whether it is an early or a delayed sowing, they changed the schedule of plowing and the land preparations also, they changed the pesticide application schedule, they changed the fertilizer application schedule, and they also changed the scheduled irrigation. So these are very, very critical points of the fact that which actually contribute successfully to the agricultural practices, and it has the results when they show it. I think it definitely gives us so much of confidence to pursue our programs with much more dynamism and commitment and with more aggression. There's a 98% of the farmers, and this is not a small number in the country, because out of almost over 90 million farmers in the country, we are providing these services right now, these agro-meteorological services, to 43 million farmers. So out of those, if the survey says, obviously it's a symbolic suggestion, that's how the statistics works, then 98% of the farmers made modification for at least one of the 9 critical practices, and 94% of the farmers could either avail an economic benefit, or they could, or at the most minimum, they could avoid losses due to heavy rains or whatever that has been mentioned. So I think this is a very, very significant finding. Then when we talk about the livestock owners using this weather information, it says that 76% of the livestock owners, stock owners, they use this information, and they use this information for modification of their sheds or shelters. They use this information for vaccination against the sorry, the seasonal diseases, and also for fodder management. So these are very very important aspects, and these most important aspects where it says that 76% of them use these weather informations for this. Then when we talk about the fishermen, the report says that 82% of the farmers, fishermen, used these ocean state advisory before venturing into sea. That itself, when this study, as far as I know, these services are given to almost 7 lakh fishermen in the country right now. And if the report says that 82% of the fishermen, before they venture into the sea, they will have access to the advisory that is produced by the INCOIS, our Hyderabad institution, and then they it again says that 95% of the fishermen they could avoid empty trips, yeah, and that in fact resulted in saving 18.25 crores of operational cost. Then the report also says about the potential fishing zone advisories, where it was said that they resulted in successful trips, additional fish catch, which I mentioned earlier, that it will improve the food, etc. for the country, and then an additional income of 1.92 crores. It was resulted from this, and this was from 1079 successful fishing expeditions. So these data, I think they speak volumes about the depth in which the National Council for Applied Economic Research has gone into, and that's how it says that the total annual economic benefit to the 10.7 million below poverty line agricultural households, that is farmers and livestock owners, was 13,331 crores, and if you convert it into incremental benefits for 5 years, it becomes 48,056 crores. And then again, for the BPL fishermen households, the annual income gained by 0.53 million is 663 crores. For 5 years, it becomes 2,391 crores, and that makes it what Dr. Many also mentioned, 50,447 crores. So very easily we are getting this data, because I was part of that those functions where this National Monsoon Mission has been a part of a cabinet. It was something like 400-500 crores, and then again the upgradation of the high computing facility, it has also been again something like 400-500 crores. So those 1,000 crores, and this is the result right now, when the service is being delivered only to 43 million farmers and 7 lakh fishermen. We know that there is at least minimum a double of that number is there in the country. So when, as per our plan, because ultimately we want to deliver these agro-meteorological services, which are right now being delivered through almost 400 agro-meteorological units and in 2,000 blocks in the country. Ultimately, the ambition and the plan for future is to do it up to all the 6,000, over 6,000 blocks, and in all the through the all the agrometeorological units. So the report gives us more energy and enthusiasm to move ahead with the fastest possible speed. I remember when I joined this ministry in 2014, and I used to answer questions in Parliament in 2015. At that time, it used to be the number of farmers who were getting the benefit used to be, in the initial stages, they used to talk about 7 million farmers, then they started talking about 10 million, 11 million farmers, and today it's about 43 million farmers, and we want to go up to that 93.3 million farmers, and then of course fishermen and others. So this is a great satisfying finding, and I am sure the scientists in the department I will also go through the details of the report, and I would love if the media people, of course, will also get into the nitty-gritty and give us their good suggestions, because we want to ensure that our weather forecasting system, which has this latest, you see, all the mathematical models, which is, they call it a dynamical model, and then our weather forecasting system today has achieved a standard which is comparable to the best in the whole world. Even our high performance computing facility, I think when I talk to them and find out, so it's only US, UK and Japan. They may be marginally better than us, but our ability is as good as any other. We know that for many of these rim countries, we are in fact giving them all the services. We know that for tsunami early warnings, we never give a false warning, and this is on record that even a country like Japan gives sometimes has to give a false warning, but ours has never been a false warning. It is so, and recently we have seen in the compare the devastation and the destruction of human life and human hurtments and everything that happened in 99, and you compare that with whatever the recent cyclones, Amphan, and so many things that have fallen, etc., which have happened, and the appreciation of the well-timed forecasts about cyclones given by this ministry has happened even at the level of the United Nations in recent years. We are into now flood warning systems. We recently launched a flood warning system for Mumbai along with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. I know with the Chief Minister of Gujarat, with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, we have launched, and in Delhi, I had myself launched in one of the constituencies. You see, our equipment SAFAR, which is very popular, which tells us about the air quality, and right now the way people have become conscious about the air quality, etc. This particular ministry is doing giving a human service to the community. We are now into these heat waves. There's already scientists working in what is that place, Mahabaleshwar, about the artificial rains and all. There is hardly any you see field where even for earthquakes, I don't think that there is any country which is doing the type of research that this ministry is doing about earthquakes. You go to Koyna in Maharashtra. I had myself had the privilege to launch that program. They are getting deep into the, you see, hard, rocky place which has been suffering from multiple earthquakes for last 50 years. And now our ministry has gone deep there, put sensors inside the earth up to almost 3, 4, 5 kilometers. And then with the observations that are made round the clock, round the year, we are trying to assess the cause of earthquake. and even for earthquakes you cannot predict, but as fast as possible giving warnings and all, so that at least the major services can be shut down. So there is so much that is happening in this ministry. So I would like to use this occasion when we are releasing this report to also congratulate the scientists of this ministry, Dr. Rajivan and Dr. Parvinder Mani, all the our DG IMD is there, all the other scientists, everybody is there, and all the directors are there. I wish to congratulate all of them, and I think we have to keep up the good work. Prime Minister has a very strong, powerful ambition. He wants India's science to be on the top of the world. He wants India to be amongst the top 2-3 scientific nations of the whole world by 2030, and by 2022 he wants to deliver a new India. And I can say for sure by now, after having seen science from the closest of quarters in the last 6 years, that science only has the ability and the potential to actually help the Mother Earth get rid of all its problems, to help the cause of environment, to help the cause of climate change, to help the cause of pollution, to help the cause of all the sufferings of humanity. They can all be alleviated with the help of science. It is only the vision of our scientists that needs to be, I think, maybe redesigned or refurbished, so that we can think in those directions, diagnose the people's problem, work for their solutions, and then deliver them to the people of India as fast as possible. That is probably the need of the hour, and I am sure that the Ministry of Earth Sciences will live up to the expectations of people of India. So once again, all my heartiest congratulations, and thanks for making me a part of this very, very prestigious function. So wish you all good health and good luck, and save yourself from corona, and take care that you are not compromising on the COVID appropriate behavior. Always wear a mask, never put it off for any reason except when you are taking food at home. That also I would suggest, take it alone, don't take it with too many people, and that's what is required. Maintain good quality physical distance and perform rightly on the front of hand and respiratory hygiene and etiquettes, and keep yourself away from crowds. That's the, I think, key to protect yourself and your friends and your family from corona. That is what is needed right now, and we wish that what the Prime Minister has appealed to every countryman, even through a broadcast to the nation, is only this simple message. No Prime Minister will come to the television and give a small message about these small things which appear small but are so important as a doctor. And I think by now everyone has understood the importance of these things. So wish you all good health. Thank you.
I once again sincerely thank our Honourable Minister for taking his time to be with us in this function. The work which we are carrying out, the radio work. Also thank Ms. Nanu Bhasin, and also thank Dr. Parvinder Mani for spearheading this very important work, for organizing this event in a very nice way. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Jai.
All the ministries of the Government of India. So we are not cancel, or we are not any stop any program. We think there could be some delay in implementing. So instead of for some completion of projects this year, it may be completed next year. And that's the only problem. For example, now we bought 10 radars from Northwest India, and it has been given to a company in Hyderabad. It is getting delayed because of COVID. The company was closed down for some time. So now there is a slow in implementation. That's all. Otherwise, none of the programs have been stopped.
The budget has been slashed, sir, this year due to COVID.
You see, now the budget will budget proposals and all. You see, now the budget will come in another 3 months, And you know, there is already a revival of economy. The signs have already appeared, and I would say that the Prime Minister had been very, very bold, and that way he has been very forthright in his sincerity. In spite of so much of troubled situation, he got that big huge package of 20 lakh crores to see that everything is taken care of. And then in science and health, these areas have not been compromised, because the science and health, they have, I think, even for COVID also, these are the areas where there has been so much of support for handling COVID. So many activities have, in spite of that, gone into our science ministries. So many startups have all been supported in spite of all this. So I personally won't say that like in health, there is already a 65,000 crores SFC and all, which has been cleared for new projects, because Prime Minister is now talking about an Atmanirbhar Bharat. So in spite of whatever little setback we had to economy during the lockdown period, but yesterday itself we have seen that GST and all, everyone is saying that economy is back on rails. So I don't see any significant suppression of things, but of course in another few months we should be back to absolutely normal.
But MOEs is a ministry that is not.
No, MOEs, I think he has also already mentioned that there is no scheme which has it's all because of some technical reasons. He mentioned to you about radars. If they have to be made by a Hyderabad company and the company got closed down because of COVID related activities or lockdown, so the whole thing has got delayed. But there is nothing which has been dumped because of COVID. It is only the pace which has slowed, and I think another next budget we should have better results. They should all be taken care of. At least while working, we have never felt that there is there is some lack of funds or some project we have to say, oh no, we can't do it. The files and the projects and the activities, they are happening as usual. For me, I haven't felt the brunt of this economic slowdown, so-called economic slowdown. At least in our day-to-day working, we have never felt that. I think Dr. Rajivan will probably strengthen. Earlier we had helped Chennai people also,
yes.
And now we have, I think, plans for Assam also, maybe Calcutta and other places, and very successfully we have done it for Mumbai. So according to the needs of the various places, whatever is the capability and potential of this ministry, we are trying to, if we did one activity at one place, then we are scaling it up to places where there's, say for example, earthquakes. There's micro-zonation plants and all started with one particular city, then they are moving on to other cities. So that way the expansion is going on.
So for flood warning, we have already completed 2 cities. Calcutta, next year we will complete. Already work has been started. And so specifically some city-based forecast system we will implement. But in addition to river-based flooding delay, already IMD is providing 5-day up to 5-day forecast. Here Central Water Commission who have been there, from this monsoon season we started. Earlier it was 3 days, now we are there giving 5 days forecast. And of course the accuracy thoda zyada improve karna padega, so that we are trying our best. And coordinated precipitation forecast, so quantity, we can tell that tomorrow it will rain or not, but kitna barish hoga, that is a quantity of precipitation forecast we will say. That is a little difficult, but we are improving a lot. And still there is a scope for further improvement. We will improve it further. And once we improve the quantity precipitation, this Central Water Commission can estimate kitna pani or river, how much water will flow through the river and how much flooding level will increase. So calculation custom.
With
we will improve. We will improve.
the Water Commission and all, we are very actively
We are
involved
very
with
closely working
coordinating with them also, and jointly the whole country is, I think, trying to address each and every problem.